So again, when Jesus says that if the therapist has any need that will interfere with the person's hearing, that you will not really hear what the other person is saying. All right, this is all about being able to be quiet inside and to listen and to hear. The form in which your gentle hands touch the pain and the hurt and the block will be irrelevant. You don't have to be concerned with that. Your concern is only within listening and hearing. And everybody will tell you where the pain is. They will tell you what the hurt is if you just listen. They don't have to know. It won't be in their words. If there is nothing interfering, if there's no block between you and them, if there's no specialist need that demands your attention, you will hear. And the question is being able to hear. What happens with this course with people is that people think that learning this course, practicing this course, and then teaching this course, all you have to do is learn what the course says. Right? You learn the notes of the course. All right? You learn the rhythm of the course. You learn the times of the course. And then you could go out and teach this course. You could practice this course. You could live this course. And when you're in the presence of someone like that, you know something is missing. And what's missing is the Melos. What's missing is the melody, is the sounds, is the message, is the love between the words. All right? Or, as Furtwängler said, behind the words. All right? So to quote Mahler again, what is best in music is not found in the notes. What is best in this course is not found in the words. It's not found in the theory. Or it's found in the love that is behind it. And it's that love that allows you then to learn the theory and then put it into practice. All right, it's that love behind the words and then the words themselves that allow you to understand that there is a block in everyone. All right, the block is fear, the block is guilt, the block is some investment in specialness. And ultimately it's the fear of our oneness, it's the fear of that song. And what will enable you to hear it in the other person is being able to hear it in yourself. If you do not experience yourself as being gentle, if you do not experience yourself as being kind, if you experience yourself as having an investment in that block being taken away, no matter what you have to do to get it taken away, then you realize you're not listening to the inner melody. You're not hearing the music behind the notes or between the notes. You're just paying attention to the notes, which is not what this course is about. That's why Jesus makes fun of the words. He says that the words are nothing. Words are symbols of symbols, twice removed from reality. That's why he tells us again that the song, that forgotten song, is that the notes are nothing. All right? In the opening pages of the Song of Prayer, he tells us the notes are nothing, the rhythms are nothing, the harmonics are nothing, the intervals are nothing. Now, he wants us to conduct in the Wagnerian school. He wants us to be a student of this course from the inside, not just mastering the outside. There's a story which is probably apocryphal, although the content is true, that Furtwängler was attending a Toscanini performance of the Ninth Symphony. And the opening measures, if you know the Ninth Symphony, are very mysterious, and they come out of nowhere. And within the opening bars, Furtwängler, everybody had enough, stood up and screamed, you timekeeper. I think that's what he said. No, I'm sorry. He said, you damned rhythm maker. That's what he called it, or rhythm beater, and stormed out. Nobody's ever verified that's true, although it's stories written about. Because when Toscanini conducted that, you heard every single note. There are sextuplets, and you hear everyone clearly articulated. When Furtwängler does it, it's like coming out of a mysterious cloud, which really basically is the depths of the unconscious. And it's a totally different experience. Right? This is not a course on mastering the rhythms and the notes. This is a course in hearing what's behind it. And you can't hear what's behind it unless you do it in yourself, which means, as always, you have to work on yourself. another way of looking at all this, which was Wagner's point, and Furtwängler wrote a great deal about this, and so he conducted from this point of view, that Wagner made the point that you can't conduct any specific passage in a work without knowing how that passage fits into the whole. All right, so one could say his was a holistic approach to music. Right, that when you heard the underlying melos, which is the whole, then you would understand how every part fit into that, so that you would not be conducting from measure to measure and phrase to phrase. You'd be conducting the whole piece, and everything that you conducted would be part of the whole. Again, that's what makes would make a Furtwängler experience a living experience, not just hearing a brilliant conductor with a brilliant orchestra playing a brilliant piece of music. The same goes in terms of people. Right? In the 30s, there was a psychiatrist, Kurt Goldstein, very, very famous in psychology and psychiatry, and he wrote about having, you have to approach the organism as a whole, in a sense that the holism really began with Goldstein's work. And actually, he gave rise to what used to be called organismic psychology. You have to see the organism as a whole. In fact, I think his major work was called The Organism. All right, and actually, it gave rise to Gestalt psychology, which most of you have heard of. All right, the idea is that you no longer saw the person as having a past, for example, as the Freudians did. You would see the whole of the person, and the idea would be to see how every specific part of what the person was experiencing was part of this whole. Right? If we look at that from the point of view of the Course, what that means is everyone here has the same melos. Right? We all have the same purpose in being here. There's a purpose and a meaning that runs through everybody here the same. And the meaning is to escape from God. That's the purpose. That's why there's a world. That's why we're here. That's the ego's melos. Right, which is the defense against the true melos, or the true melody, or the true song, which again is that song of love. That's what we're so terrified of. That's what we chose against. That's why we feel so guilty because of that choice. And this whole world then becomes an expression of that defense coming from the fear of God's love and God's oneness. That's what you want to listen for. Instead of becoming entranced and enchanted by the specific ingenious ways that you and others endeavor to escape from God's love, get to what's behind it, which is the fear that everyone shares. And one of the values of that approach is that you recognize that the wholeness of purpose that everyone shares is also what unites us as a whole. But the bottom line is that we are all the same. We all share the same thing. We all are living the same symphony. We may have different notes. We may have this in different keys. But the basic melody is the same. How do I keep from being annihilated by God? How could I get rid of my guilt and blame everybody else? Everybody's doing the same thing. That's what you want to hear. That's what you touch with the gentle hands of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not recognize differences in form, because forgiveness sees, that's the vision of Christ that forgiveness rests on. Forgiveness sees everything is the same. Everybody's ego is the same. So when you touch the pain and the hurt with those gentle hands, there's no concern with the form, which means you're not concerned with changing the form, which means you would see the blockage as not being something bad, as not being a problem to be overcome, to be healed from, to be changed, to be modified. You would see the blockage as a detour to returning home to that song that the person must go through. You would not seek to take away the detour and say, you know, this is going to take you the wrong way around. Why don't you just go straight? Well, if the person could go straight, the person would go straight, which means the person wouldn't be here. And neither would you. It means respecting the detour. It means respecting the block.